Now, I think we are pretty good at remembering first times. A child's first word, their first steps, the first day of school, the first date, of course, that first kiss, the first day at a new job, the first night in a new home. We take pictures. We write dates in baby books. We tell the stories years later. And you know, firsts tend to announce themselves. They come in saying, "Hey, pay attention. This is something new." But lately I've been thinking about something we almost never recognize when it happens. And that is what we call the last times. You see, last times are different. Most of them don't announce themselves at all. They simply happen. And only later do we realize that there won't be another one. I wonder how many last times I've already lived without knowing that they were last times. There was a last time I carried each of my children in my arms. I don't remember when it was. One day you pick them up, and another day you pick them up. And eventually, of course, you put them down, and then you don't pick them up in that same way ever again. But nobody tells you. There was probably a last bedtime story. A last time one of them reached for my hand walking to school. I remember that one well, though. Well, I remember that he held my hand. I can't remember the exact last time. Our youngest son was several years younger than his nearest sibling, so we got to have a lot and savor a lot of last times. But we were simply in a different place in life. A place in life when we could spend more time trying to hopefully create some of those amazing memories. I particularly remember walking him to school when he was in elementary school. The joyful feeling of his hand just naturally slipping into my hand as we walked was amazing. I remember one morning asking him to promise me that he would keep doing that and never get tired of it. And in his delightful innocence, he said, "Yeah, Dad, why wouldn't I?" Well, I don't remember exactly when he stopped, because I kept hoping he would just naturally start up again. But he didn't. He'd grown up and moved past that stage. I remember those last family vacations when everyone was still living under the same roof, but we didn't know that it was going to be the last one with everybody. Or a last Christmas in a particular home. A last meal around a table with everyone there that we always thought, well, they would always be there. At the time, all of these were simply ordinary moments. That may be what makes this idea so powerful to me. We usually know when something is beginning. We rarely know when something is ending. And it isn't only the big things. Somewhere in my life there was a last time I went outside and played with childhood friends until it got dark. Nobody gathered us around and said afterward, "Well, boys, that was it. You'll never do that again." We just went home. And eventually, childhood moved on. And one of my specific bad practices as I was growing up was that I was always in a hurry to do the next thing and go on to the next level or grade or whatever. I didn't take the time to truly recognize all of the many treasured last times I was experiencing. For me, that was a big loss that I wish I could have back. There was a last class with a favorite teacher, a last performance with a particular band or orchestra or other kind of performing group, a last time I walked out of a workplace where I'd spent years of my life, a last conversation with someone I loved. Now, Some of those last times I knew were coming. Others, I didn't. Like I said, to me, there is truly something sad about that. But as I've gained some additional perspective over time, I'm trying to turn that sadness into something positive. I'm trying really hard to feel a greater appreciation for this time. Because while I may not recognize a last time when it arrives, I can recognize this time, this conversation, this surprise visit from my kids and grandkids, this fun and unique dinner, this walk on this particular path, this ordinary yet beautiful afternoon with people I love. And I don't have to treat every moment as though it might be the final one. That would be exhausting and, not to mention, a little morbid. And probably a fairly miserable way to live. But maybe I can stop assuming there will always be another chance to say what I meant to say, maybe even what I should have said. Another visit, another time to welcome someone who came unexpectedly to the door, another phone call, another summer, another autumn, another Christmas, another spring, another opportunity to sit with friends and family and laugh about something completely unimportant. Not with fear, but with appreciation. And there's a temptation when we think about the passage of time to wish we had known. Like I said before, if only I had known that was the last time. Maybe I would have stayed a little longer, or listened a little more carefully, or looked around the room and tried harder to remember every single thing about that room. Said what I wanted to say. Maybe, but we didn't know. Life doesn't usually put signs over our ordinary moments telling us which ones will matter later and which ones won't. We simply live them. So I don't think I want to spend much time trying to identify the last times. I'd really rather become better at recognizing the this times. The people who are here now, the places I can still go, the voices I can still hear, the things I can still do, the ordinary moments that are still mine to live. Because somewhere among all of those moments, there will inevitably be some last times. And I probably won't recognize a lot of them. But I can recognize today. And I can recognize this time that is happening every day. And hopefully, just hopefully, that's enough. Thank you for spending these few quiet minutes with me today. This has been The Quiet Between, and I'm Mark Ammons. Until next time, let's hold the people we love a little closer. And let's linger sometimes when we're tempted to hurry away. And let's try not to become so certain there will be another time that we miss the exquisite beauty of this one.